everybody. I hope you're doing well. A little bit of a different video today. I'm doing a little bit of a cooking video. I've never done this before. We'll see how much of it gets voiced over. But I don't know what this will sound like. This is more of just a fun video. Sorry if you can hear the humming of the fridge. But today we're going to be making, as you already know, some Dutch oven bread. I got this Dutch oven for Christmas last year. I've used it a couple times, and I just recently, the other day, made some really good garlic sort of bread. It's not garlic bread in the traditional sense, but I've been in love with this thing. So I've already started to prep this, and then I thought, hey, this would be a great idea for a video. So I'm going to, this is just 3 cups of flour. The flour I use is this. I've used it a couple times and I enjoy it. I went to a bakery recently. I'm going to cut the garlic while I talk. I'm putting some garlic in it. This one is going to be a cheesy garlic bread. I've got Fiesta blend cheese here. I would have cheddar. I don't want to go to the store, otherwise I would use cheddar. But let me just make sure the camera's looking good. Yes, excuse the mess. This is my recipe sheet that I've written out so I don't have to be on my phone. I went to a nice local bread company the other day, and they mill their own grain in-house, and it just tasted so much better. And I really want to get like an at-home grain mill now. They're like $500, but they look so good. The bread tasted so amazing. So that might be a Christmas gift item. They're on my wish list. I am by no means a professional chef or cook. So I apologize if I'm not cutting this in the best way, you don't agree with my methods. Now this recipe I'm not following exactly. It's supposed to be like cheddar and rosemary and whatever. It doesn't call for garlic either, but I love garlic. It says to let the bread rise and then put the stuff in at the end, which I don't necessarily agree with. I put the garlic in the other day at the start. Let me wash my hands real quick. So peep the smoky on smoky fit. Not much, but okay. So in here is 3 cups of flour. Then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of sugar that I already measured out, and then a teaspoon of salt. I don't know much about bread either. I just follow some recipes. I like to learn a bit more. Teaspoon of salt, and then about a teaspoon and a half of this yeast. Throw the garlic in. And it is 10 a.m. So apologies if you can hear my neighbors. I don't imagine they'd be too loud right now. It's a Monday. Let me get a fork here to mix this up. Then we'll put some water in. It also says, so I put about 1.5 cups of water in. It says 1.5 cups of cheese. So I'm gonna probably put a cup in and then save the half for when I fold it up. And I also wanted to put in some, I think, Italian seasoning. Italian seasoning. Not too much, just enough. So this is garlic Italian Fiesta blend cheese. Okay, so I'm gonna go put some water in. I'm gonna let this run so it gets a little hot. I'll rotate the camera around here so you can see my sink. Then I'll freeze another bag. It's almost empty. Cup and a half. I'm not going to save that for the cheese. I don't know how well you want to be able to see this stuff. Look at this. I think I should have put the cheese in first. I'm a bit of a highball measurement guy. Smells good. About 1 cup of cheese in there for now. I'm gonna mix this all together. Use a fork for a bit, but usually that doesn't work too well for too long. You know, it's supposed to be no knead dough, but I like kneading bread. And it doesn't get all the flour in if you just spin it up. Yeah, I want one of those home milk things, and then I can buy green berries by the pallet, or at least I'll buy a lot, like 20 pounds at a time or something. tastes so much better. I forgot what the brand is called for the good ones. For the good mills. Okay, we're getting there. This is about most of it. Got a lot of the wet stuff on my hands. Voice crack there. Okay, that'll probably do. And then I'll let this sit for about an hour, 1 to 2 hours. Let it rise, and then take it, fold it out a few times, throw in the other half cup of cheese, and start preheating the oven for the Dutch oven, and let that heat up, and then let this sit and rise a little bit before, or like while that thing heats up. So it's got another like 30 minutes of rise time after folding stuff over. Just getting the little pieces off my hand. Calling me good. There we go. Okay, so I'll put a towel over this. This is my ceremonial bread towel. So I'll just cover that up and clean up. And then I'll see you back here once this has risen for a little bit, okay? Alright everybody, we're back. So the dough has been rising for about an hour and a half now. And this is what it looks like. You can see the cheese and the Italian flavoring and stuff in there. Fridge is off, changed the mic to be mono. And now I'm gonna roll it out a little bit. I've decided I'm not gonna put more cheese in it. I'm not a huge cheese guy. We've got our parchment paper here. We're just going to roll it out. We also have to start preheating the oven. So I'll turn that on and start preheating it after this because the mic's right next to it. So I don't want it to make too much sound. But we preheat. We put this down. We preheat. Put the Dutch oven in while it's preheating. So that way it doesn't crack as much. And won't preheat it with the lid. And yeah, so this is my more empty bag of flour that I'll just use for putting down. So what we're going to do here is just kind of roll the dough out a little bit. This is where you would fold in the cheese if you wanted more. But I do not. Tell the bottom's a bit more sticky. Just gonna put that down. It hasn't doubled in size yet, but it's rough. It's definitely grown. So I'm just gonna fold it over a few times and turn it into a ball. Get some more flour on there, make sure it doesn't stick too much. All the little crumbs in there. So this is about roughly our dough ball. So pretty easy step. The last thing is going to be, of course, preheating the oven. I'll take a video once it's done preheating because we'll just drop this paper with the dough into the Dutch oven, make a slice in it, that way it has somewhere to vent, and then I'll just be cooking it, and I'll say the cook times and stuff. Then But if you're interested in this version of the recipe that I'm making, I'll put it on screen here, and you can copy it if you'd like. It'll also be in the description if you're interested. But for now, we're just going to take this, put it back in this bowl with the parchment paper, let it sit until the oven is done preheating, and then drop it into the Dutch oven. So we'll go quiet on this. $450. I'm gonna move you back so you can see. Like I mentioned, we're putting the Dutch oven in. Don't mind the dirty oven. Cook a lot of frozen pizzas. So we just place the Dutch oven in there. We'll have our hot pads for when it comes out. And then of course, Dutch oven lid grabber for when this thing is hot. Yeah. Alright. The oven is nice and preheated. It's been on for about 30 minutes here. The dough has just sat. We're going to pull the Dutch oven on out and place it in, call it good. So the Dutch oven is very hot. Prepare your ears. That just sits in like that. We're gonna take a knife and add a little slice across the top. I like to do a bit of an X to add some personality. But now we're done. We're gonna cover it up. I don't need and call it good. Now we're going to put this in for about 30 minutes. Bada bing, bada boom. Put it in for 30 minutes, let it cook, and then we're going to take it out and just take the lid off, put it back in for about 10 to 15 minutes without the lid on. I'm not going to take a video of that, just because it's take it out, take the lid off, put it back in. That way the top gets nice and golden too. This is just to cook it, and then the second part is to get the crust nice and golden. So, yeah, again, the recipe's on screen, and next step is enjoy the finished product. Alright, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to shut the oven off, and you can see the lid's already off. It's been in for about 45 minutes total now, so we're going to take it out. Set her down there. And I'm going to move the bread onto a pan to cool. We'll let it sit for like 30 minutes, but that way it doesn't cook anymore. 1 second. Thankfully, parchment paper is not hot to touch. Oh yeah. Now look at that loaf of bread. Nice and hard, but I can assure you the inside is nice and soft. You can see this side's a little less crusty. But there we go. That's what we got. So this thing will take a while to cool down. The bread I'll let sit for 30 minutes. And yeah, and I'll just wait for that to cool down, and then I'll slice it, cut it up. I've got a nice bread knife here. Good serrated, great for loaves. Used it the other day. And yeah, that's all there is to it. And I just let this cool, clean out some of the crumbs. The nice thing about the parchment paper is, as you can see, there's not very much in terms of crumbs. There's a few crumbs, but they're very easy to clean out. So look at that. It's a beautiful thing. I love making loaves of bread. They're nice, easy, cheap. When you make them at home, they taste way better than the store-bought ones. You can do whatever you want. I'm wondering if this is going to taste anything like a Red Lobster cheddar biscuit. I mean, it won't have the garlic herb on top, but it's got cheese and garlic in it. We'll see. That'd be pretty neat. Yeah, fairly easy, of course. The recipe's been on screen a couple times. Let me know what you think of this. I would pick this up and hold it. I'll probably have an action shot here at the end in about 30 minutes. Once it cools down, it's very hot to touch, but it just looks amazing. Do a cut open piece at the end as well, where you get to see the inside of it. So, almost done. Now, can you believe it? Look at that. It smells like cheesy garlic bread. Bottom's nice and brown. Looking real good. Let me get a cutting board and I'll do a cutting test. Okay. I'll cut it right here. Just get a little side piece and see. Get nice and up close with this. Bread review. Look at that. You can see where the cheese is. Oh, it's gonna be so good. And what I like to do, I'm going to cut this into two pieces. What I like to do is I like to put the remaining bit of loaf back on the parchment paper and into the Dutch oven and cover it up, and that keeps it nice and fresh for a while. The bottom can be a little hard to cut, but it's nice and chewy instead of like hard. Which I personally like. If you're not a fan of that, I'm sure there's a way you can make it less chewy. Look at that. There's a little steam coming off of it. Yeah. Anyways, that's the bread. Look at that. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the cooking video. Zoom out here. Hello. I hope you enjoyed the cooking video. And thanks for watching. See you the next time. If this does well, we'll make a different type of bread soon.